USF, they might have some big movements ahead of them in the future, whether they move to the Big 12 or the ACC. I think that's the hope for everybody, that USF is on the move. Laughing, Pat? Why?
They're going to have some big movements. And their move will be big, but big movements, we all have those sometimes.
You are a child.
I am a child. Listen, you should have known when I laughed at big movements where I was at. I haven't slept much in the last 24 hours, so I'm like a child who hasn't slept, yes.
We're going to find out what's going to happen with USF, hopefully soon. We all know they got to move conferences. They got to get out, and they got to join either the ACC or the Big 12. But the question is, which one do you want? Which one should you want? Whether you're a USF fan or you're just a casual sports fan and you're thinking, well, Big 12 or ACC, which one presents a better future, a bigger future for USF, which has big dreams with their new stadium coming here? There is a lot of opportunity when it comes for USF with a bigger conference. And to me, Pat, Sam, between the Big 12 and the ACC, yeah, if you asked me a long time ago, I would have told you the ACC. But we're living in 2026. And I'm going to tell you in 2026, it's not even close for me. It's the Big 12. It's the Big 12. Because you've seen recently with expansion, and you've seen what the Big 12 has done and what they offer, much more depth across all the teams when you look at the Big 12. Fewer weaker teams and weaker programs in the Big 12. So I think you have a lot of opportunity, more so in the Big 12, in both basketball and in football than you would have if you were in the ACC. The ACC might lose programs, big programs. Teams might want out of the ACC. So that
would be a problem.
Yeah, and to me that tells me the stability there is not quite the same as it is in the Big 12.
Yeah, and that is definitely a big notch for the Big 12. I do like the idea of the ACC just from a location standpoint. You have a lot more schools that are a lot closer when it comes to the rivalries and that sort of thing. But I also, I don't know if it was Sam that brought it up or whatever, but being in a conference with Miami and Florida State, I think could turn into some great rivalries. To have that in-state rivalry with two programs that are that close and that good, I think could be very good for USF.
Yeah, when you're talking about Florida State
and Miami.
Yeah, Florida State and Miami. We don't know we don't know for them what they're going to do, if they're going to stay in the ACC, if they're going to move. This whole thing is a complete mess, and that's kind of where it gets jumbled is with other programs, what do they want? What are their desires for the future? If you're USF, that rivalry looks great if they stay there. Yeah. If they don't, are you just replacing them, and does that look good enough?
I think both things can be true. The Big 12, in my opinion, and people will say it's biased because I'm a Big 12 graduate, but the Big 12, to me, certainly you have a better chance of financial gain and success overall throughout the athletic department. But if you want to look at the product on the field, I think it's not even close. They would want to be in the ACC. They have a much better chance of succeeding and winning things in the ACC than they do in both football and basketball than they would in the Big 12. So to me, financial gain, yes, you would want to be in the Big 12. It's the brighter future in terms of a conference. But if they were to go to the Big 12 right now, I don't see them winning much of anything in any major sport.
I think right now that would be true. But I think if you look at what we have here in the Tampa area, right away the USF Bulls will offer a top 10 or top 15 media market. Right away, that's huge.
The college itself is fantastic.
Right. The area is great. It's a destination. As we talk, Tallahassee and Gainesville destinations. Tampa Bay, yeah, it's not as much of a college town as a Gainesville.
Yet.
I don't think it will ever
maybe
be.
It'll never be Gainesville, but
there's just too much
the
you can
stadium
do.
is a fraction of the size.
Yeah, like when you
I think having the stadium on campus is going to make a difference.
Sure, but definitely. But when you talk about Gainesville, it's like, hey, what are you going to go and do in Gainesville? It's a party town. It's a college town. When you talk about Tampa Bay, there's a million things to do. But top 15 media market, the football program's on the rise, the basketball program's on the rise. Those are things you want to look at and go, this is the perfect time to join the Big 12, especially the basketball program and the movement we've seen there.
I think part of that, though, and yes, that means more money if you have big media and whatnot and big companies to invest in your programs. But if you look at the Big 12 overall, you think of a Kansas, you think of an Iowa State. Cincinnati's a medium market, but like you're talking about schools that are all, for the most part, just college towns, and so they're just invested in that athletic department. and this is obviously a gross generalization, but if you're sharing in Tampa, like not everyone's invested in USF, right? Everyone in Lawrence is invested in the Jayhawks. Everyone in Lubbock is invested in Texas Tech. You know what I mean? Like sometimes that outside noise isn't necessarily the best thing for you.
And that's why I think USF is it's in an interesting place because you can make some really good points for either conference. And again, I bring up Florida State and Miami, but if you don't even know if they're going to stay, then that takes that out of the equation. It's either way, this school is going to be in a better place in years to come because of the direction it's heading, and that's great news either way.
And I think you're absolutely right, and I think they're in the driver's seat. I think USF's in the driver's seat right now because now you can go to an expanding conference if you want in the Big 12. You can go to the ACC, but you provide like I said, the media market. There's so many things that come with USF and the new stadium that are appetizing to these conferences that were not before.
I can't wait to see the stadium.
I saw a thing. I'm going to try to pull the numbers, and I'll bring it up in top headlines as well coming up. But there was a study done about, I want to say it was athletic department's gross revenue over the past season. And USF was pretty high up there. They were ahead of some of the Power Fours. I want to say they were right around 60th on the list in terms of overall athletic department revenue. So it's not like they don't have money. Like USF does have money, especially when you talk about G4 or G5 programs. So the money is certainly there for them to be competitive. But again, taking that step from the American, I was drawing a blank on the conference for a second, up to a place like the Big 12, like to me, the ACC overall is the lowest of the P4s right now, ever since you lost the Pac-12. So it's more of a step.
You will get money though when you and Pat and Sam, you were bringing up the competitiveness of when they go in that conference. How long will it be to be competitive, especially Big 12 right now in some aspects? I think not long because the money will come when you go with the bigger conference. When you present yourself to go, hey, we are for real.